Is boxer Mike Tyson going to jail again? Jake Paul has been asking for a fight against Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson said he thought Jake Paul was so crazy that before they could even get to a fight, Paul would be arrested for throwing stuff at people, bottles and stuff. Turns out it may not be Jake Paul who should be worried about getting arrested. Hi, it's Harvard Lawyer Lee coming at you from the intersection of law and life. Now, earlier this week, famed boxer Mike Tyson, who now bills himself as the world champion of cannabis, was flying on a commercial airline, just like the rest of us. JetBlue, in fact, not even known for its luxury. TMZ Sports has released 2 videos of what happened. The first shows a passenger/fan seated directly behind Tyson, standing up and leaning over Tyson's seat, hovering right above his head and just generally being very annoying. And apparently he kept going even after Tyson asked him to chill. Witnesses claim the passenger was drunk. I don't have any information on that, but he certainly did seem excited. Another video taken from behind the two starts with Tyson already standing up, leaning over the back of his seat and pummeling this guy. The man sits down and tries to fend Tyson off. To me, it looked like Tyson was hitting him on the side and in the stomach area in this particular clip. Now, when Mike Tyson hits you, it's pretty safe to say that you're going to know it. And pictures have circulated showing the guy with some blood on his forehead. It wasn't clear how he got a bloody face. The video doesn't seem to show direct face shots, but at some point there must have been some hits to the face. So here's today's question. Is Mike Tyson going to jail for what he did? And before I forget, please subscribe with the notifications on to get more up-to-date information about the intersection of law and life. You have to feel sorry for Mike Tyson for being harassed by the fan, but his assault on the man was clearly disproportionate. And yeah, it's possible Mike Tyson could go to jail. And yeah, it's more likely that Mike Tyson will go to jail than Will Smith. So stick around to the end of the video to find out why. With Will Smith, the slap happened in California, so I could pretty easily tell you California law applied. I'm hearing a lot on the news that they think federal law applies. I don't think that's the case. And here we know the plane was on the ground in LA and hadn't taken off yet. And since Mike Tyson got up and left the plane right after he hit the passenger, that means the door had not been closed. Federal law applies if the plane is in flight or the door has been closed. Otherwise, state law applies, so I think California law applies. Now, what does that matter? It just matters because it tells us what the standard is. The standard in California, if you commit the crime of battery, is under Penal Code 244. All it means is you actually use force or violence against another person. You do not have to actually injure them. You just have to touch them in a way that was harmful or offensive. So did what Mike Tyson do amount to battery? This is not legal advice. Obviously, I represent no one involved in this fight. But yeah, I would say it's pretty strong. If the state brought that case, I would certainly rate that case as very strong. The state is going to be able to convince a lot of jurors that what Mike did used force or violence in a way that was harmful or offensive. And if you have any doubt, watch the video for yourself. I'll put a link in the description below to the TMZ video. And it wasn't self-defense because the guy was not actually touching or hitting Tyson, and because Tyson stood up and leaned over the back of his chair into the passenger's area and continued to hit him even after he was seated on the seat. So in California, what that means is battery is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by a fine of up to $2,000 and/or, that means it could be one, it could be the other, it could be both, up to 6 months in the county jail. The penalties are tougher if you actually inflict serious injury on the person. You could be charged with either a misdemeanor or a felony. If the state chooses felony, the penalty is 2 to 4 years in prison. Now, whether the man had serious injury, maybe that would be debatable in a court. It didn't look to me like Mike Tyson hit as hard as Mike Tyson could, but the man did have blood, so that probably suggests serious injury. Now, if you watched the Will Smith video I did, you know I told you at the end it was not likely that Will Smith would go to jail. I'll put a link to that video in the description below. Here, it's more likely that Mike Tyson will than that Will Smith would. Now why? Why would that be? I think there are two key differences. First, in the Will Smith case, Chris Rock chose not to press charges or to file a police report. But here, TMZ is reporting that the fan already has talked to police. Although MMA Fighting is reporting that no charges have been filed yet and that Tyson has not been arrested. Second, this assault was of a different level since blood was actually drawn. But of course, while it's possible Mike Tyson might go to jail, it may never happen. The fan and Tyson might reach an out-of-court settlement. The fan may never file charges. Tyson may convince the prosecutor that he doesn't deserve to be prosecuted. Any of those things could happen. And one day, who knows, we may find out that Mike Tyson was just getting in a practice round before the big Jake Paul fight. The Jake Paul fight hasn't been scheduled, but Mike Tyson says he'll do it for $1 billion. And now he may need that $1 billion. So don't forget to like and subscribe and come back to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.